Good morning, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, I'm going to tell you all about the Raw ratings disasters. WWE Raw slumps to its lowest rating of all time, loses to AEW Dynamite, and we've got the backstage reaction to all of this as well.
Plus, a list of WWE's most underutilized wrestlers has been revealed that's come from WWE Creative. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Right, let's dive into this rating situation. Usually we don't, this is a tasty one. Usually we don't talk about ratings on this news video because it's kind of like the same thing every week, you know? Raw is up 200,000, SmackDown is down 100,000. It's a non-story most of the time, but this most certainly is a story. On this week's episode of Raw, WWE somehow conspired to draw their lowest numbers of all time in overall viewership, but most importantly, in the key 18 to 49 demographic. Now, before we dive into this, little caveat, there was a big NFL game on Monday night that attracted something like 12 million viewers on ESPN. 12.4 million viewers. Got it written down here on my magical iPad, which definitely contributed towards this. But at the same time, look where Creative is at the moment as well. It's a very not a great show at the moment. No. Raw. I think it's safe to say. But I digress. The ratings, overall viewership, average of 1.53 million viewers. Hour to hour broken down, 1.63, 1.51, declining to 1.44 in the third hour. The demo. And this is where WWE Raw lost out to AEW Dynamite. Raw came through with a 0.41 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, down from the previous week's 0.51. Dynamite last week did 0.45. So it's outdone Raw in the key metric, which is absurd stuff. There's no way in hell that a show like AEW Dynamite, which has only been in existence for just over a year and is operating on about a tenth of the budget of WWE Raw, should be outdoing a WWE product in the most important field. Now, the data, of course, comes from Showbuzz Daily. It's a one-off at the moment, right? It's, call it a fluke, call it whatever you want, but it'll be more interesting to see how things trend over the long term, over the next few months. We can't read too much into this at the moment. However, AEW Dynamite outdoing Raw this early into the show's lifespan is crazy. WWE seem to recognize this. We've got the backstage reaction here, courtesy of a report from WrestleVotes. I'll just read the tweet to you. Talking to a source just now who said that the record low Raw rating news isn't sitting well with those in power, to a point where they expect some reactionary decisions to be made. Time will tell. Now, reactionary decisions keeps that open. You know, that could manifest as anything, really. It could
CM Punk's coming back.
It could be CM Punk's coming back. Here's my tinfoil hat that I'm not going to wear because it cooks my goddamn bald head. It could mean something simple, you know, like maybe the return of those weird 2 out of 3 falls matches that they thought were going to save the ratings crisis. Maybe another superstar shakeup 2 months after the draft. Maybe the wild card rule will return. Maybe AJ Styles will beat Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship this weekend. Who knows what this could entail? However, Adam Wilborn, you know, knowing what we know about WWE, and given that the Wednesday Night Wars and the return of competition specifically to the American marketplace was supposed to create this iron sharpens iron situation, and basically in WWE, nothing has changed, I would be very dubious about any changes.
Yeah, you've really pissed on my bonfire there. I woke up this morning and saw that story and thought, finally, yes! And then you've reminded me that, no, there's going to be, you know, Brock Lesnar brought back, or celebrities given titles, or whatever it may be, because WWE is just cannot change, cannot get out of its own way. But just to recap some of the stuff you said there, it's not a fluke, though, is it? Yes, it's a real, you know, leap in one direction for AEW and in another direction for Monday Night Raw. But we've spoken ad infinitum about how WWE, in particular Monday Night Raw, is trending downwards, and how AEW Dynamite is trending upwards. And you know, it's not something that's being kept hidden. That people have done calculations that by, like, I think August 2022, if things keep going on, it will just be a regular occurrence that Dynamite will outdraw Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is an awful show. Now, we're going to caveat this. first of all, like you say, astonishing that they drew less in the demographic and they drew barely 1.5 million for a pay-per-view go-home show. Yes, the football game, yes, this is a completely new scenario we're all enjoying wrestling in, but even so, Jesus. And I don't want to blame this on the wrestlers. Like, I don't want this to come back and haunt Drew McIntyre. I think he's been a sensational WWE champion when given the chance. But it's creative. It always comes back to creative. They have the best wrestlers in the world, aside from a few that are with other promotions. And they are pushing really good square pegs into round holes because, like, it's just unbearable to watch this show, I have to say. And you said yesterday on the news it's the worst time to be watching Raw since you and I have started at WhatCulture. I think that's fair enough. I don't think that's too far. There are glimpses of good stuff, but it is just all tainted by WWE. And hopefully it will be a catalyst for good change within WWE because we can all see where the problems are, Andy. It's not like, oh wow, I don't know why everyone's suddenly turning off this show. It's because it's crap. Yeah,
you raise a very good point there as well. WWE, right? Look at their resources. This is the most stacked. I mean, sure, they've got like 200 wrestlers, but when you add them all together, this is the most stacked roster of all time. And I don't think that's even a debate. From top to bottom, there are world-class performers all over this company. There are people in the Performance Center who barely make TV who could wrestle rings around most wrestlers anywhere in the world. Now, obviously, look, there are world-class wrestlers in other organizations as well. I'm not saying that I'm not diminishing other companies. But WWE have an abundance of riches. Then look at their finances. Look at the reach they have, broadcasting SmackDown on Fox. They are effectively, or have been considered for a long time, failure-proof. They are Scrooge McDuckin, as we are prone to saying here at WhatCulture. So there is no excuse whatsoever for any of this. You cannot let them off the hook. Yes, football competition this week. Yes, wrestling's not quite as good as it was when there was live crowds. And yes, the business as a whole, in terms of overall consumption, although, I have to caveat this by saying that outside of WWE, before all this, wrestling was growing. It was only WWE that was in terminal decline, as Dave Meltzer points out quite often. So, we can't let them off the hook. You kind of gotta look internally. A normal leader, a normal human being would see these numbers and go, okay, well, clearly something's going wrong. Let's identify the problem and try to fix it. Not Vince McMahon. Here we are. Will this be the last time we hear of an all-time ratings low for Raw? As someone who works adjacent to the wrestling business, I hope so, because you want everything to succeed. You want a happy, healthy wrestling business, and that means everybody thriving, right? But I can't confidently say that we won't.
The perfect analogy for this, for me, Andy, is if WWE was a football team, Cristiano Ronaldo would be playing in net, Jurgen Klopp would be playing up front, and Lionel Messi would be the sodding mascot. That's how, they've got all the pieces there. It's just all laid out wrong, and they'd be randomly playing golf. Yeah, it's just bonkers. And let's continue on to my story of this, because it kind of relates to it. WWE recently asked its creative team to put together a list of wrestlers that they believe are underutilized. This is being reported, again, by WrestleVotes. And they came up with this list of people who, quote, could shine if given the proper opportunity. No prizes for guessing. Cesaro's on that list, because of course he is. We've been saying this for, 5-10 years? Also on the list, Angel Garza, who just pops up on Raw and gives you a rose each week. Chad Gable, because, Chad Gable. Carmella was also on this list, and I'm going to pass to you immediately here, Andy, because I'm going to really blow a gasket here. Peyton Bloody Royce, someone who we have been saying has the potential as a solo star for half a year easily. And I don't want to get into the Iconics thing, but they've split up the greatest female tag team of all time to put them into two other tag teams that don't work and aren't being pushed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, this is a fun list, right? Because a lot of these names are people that, fans have been looking at for years, like you said, with Cesaro and Chad Gable. Everyone has been talking about, oh, do more with these guys. They're great, they're awesome. So it's kind of interesting to know that WWE's creative opinions parallels with what fans have been saying. However, is it not quite worrying that the people at the top of WWE have to go to creative to say, hey, who's underutilized here? Rather than being able to identify them themselves? Should Vince McMahon, or Bruce Pritchard or whoever sanctioned this not be able to go, actually, you know what? Cesaro's great. Maybe we should do more with him. Why should he need to go to Freddie over there, who earns $16,000 a year, and go, hey, Freddie, tell me what you think. It's good that they're getting people involved in this process, don't get me wrong. And I think it's cool that they're letting people have a voice and shining a light on these guys and girls, because they're all tremendous. But Jesus, man, what a broken process. What a crazy broken process. Here's hoping they do more with these wrestlers as a result of this.
It's the same company who went, well, I think Keith Lee has to go back to the Performance Center because he's just not the wrestler we see.
Does he do enough bear hugs? Jesus.
Just honestly, they do not have a bloody clue, do they, about the massive talent, and they're sat there going, time for Randy Orton to have another push, I think. It's oh my God.
Here we go,
Look
baby.
at the roster of talent that you've got, not just on Raw, but on SmackDown, on NXT, and like you say, just gathering dust in the bloody Performance Center, and yet you're there going, no, let's give Chad Gable a ruler gimmick, but Lars Sullivan, who can go, rah, let's give him all the time he wants. I'm gonna... It's nearly Christmas. I need to calm down. I'm going to have a mince pie, calm down. Let's move on to our Twitter questions, eh? At WhatCulture, WWE, of course, we want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Mad Pancakes, who says, I know it's unlikely, but considering how poor AEW's women's division is, could you see AEW signing AJ Lee? I think she'd be perfect way to bring eyes to the product. Most fans loved her and she would no doubt be a huge star again. What do you think? Big fan of this, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I think she would be an absolutely tremendous, I don't think there's any argument that she wouldn't be a great addition. She'd be phenomenal. People love her, people know her, she's tremendous at her job, she's a great all-round performer. The thing with AJ is that I think she's just moved on from pro wrestling, man. She had her book out and stuff. She seems like someone who's just done with the business. Her life has gone past it. She's gone beyond it. Like her husband, Chick Magnet Phil, said the other day, maybe if someone threw a colossal amount of money at her and came up with a really cool storyline, maybe she would be swayed. But I don't think we'll ever see her in the wrestling business ever again. I think she's happy doing other things, although I agree, it would be great.
Exactly. She's got a New York Times bestseller. Yeah. I think I just looked then. She's got 5 million followers on Twitter. She's doing fine. She's just thriving. Step in between those restrooms. But if she did want to come back, AEW should move heaven and earth to try and sign her, because that is the sort of eyes that could be brought to the product. And let's be honest, WWE ain't going to be letting some of their bigger female talent go. No. If they know what's good for them. Next question today comes from Sean Acklin, who says, sounds like we're going to see more Tony Khan on TV. Tony Khan popped up yesterday on Impact Wrestling again with I think it was paid advertisement. I wasn't sure if he mentioned that or not, Andy. Yeah. He said, I'm certainly up for it, Sean says. But what about you? You're going to welcome the Sugar Man as more on-screen talent, or should be used as little as he has been since AEW began? I don't think there'll ever be a scenario in AEW's complete existence where Tony Khan becomes a regular traditional on-air figure. I think you will keep seeing him in flashes like we do every 2 or 3 months when he's backstage going, hey, what'd you do that for, Kenny Omega? But no, there's no scenario I can see where Khan ever becomes a regular TV guy in AEW. He's doing the paid ads in Impact at the moment, but that to me is a completely separate thing. Yeah. AEW has said time and time again they're not going to have the on-air authority figure and all this stuff. So I trust them in that regard. Personally, as a fan, I would be very disappointed if he became an on-air televised figure, but I don't think they'll ever do that. I don't see it happening. It is a little bit of a popper when he shows up in Impact Wrestling and goes, I'm just happy to be, helping your company stay afloat, but I don't see him doing more on AEW. I think everyone, it's Tony Khan's company at the end of the day, but I guarantee with the people he's got surrounding him, your Codys, your Omegas, your MJF, well, he's always on my mind, so let's include him. I meant to include the Young Bucks there, but sorry, ask MJF what he thinks. But yeah, I think they'd go, no, we all know where this is heading. We can't have him coming out and going, welcome to Wednesday Night Dynamite. That's not going to be happening.
Nah.
I think, at worst, not at worst, because this sounds harsh, but the most extreme we're going to get is sort of a Jack Tunney sort of role, and I don't think we're even going to go that far.
No.
Right, let's move on to our final question today from Jobber C137, who says, morning, friends. Morning, Jobber. Hang on. Am I the only one who thinks that Lana will accidentally become women's champion in the near future? I fear the worst. Hashtag this is news. Hashtag I just want to be a legend. You are a legend, Jobber. Lana stumbling into becoming world champion. Please tell me that's not going to happen, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, they've done this banana peel thing so many times in so many different ways that I don't think you can rule it out. Particularly with the report that, hey, putting her through a table every week is going to make her a massive baby face. Yes, I can definitely 100% absolutely see this happening. I hope it doesn't, because I think it makes a mockery of the current champion and the belt in general. No disrespect to Lana. I think she is someone who earnestly works very, very hard for her spot in the company, and she seems like a really nice person. But I don't think that this has any good to it whatsoever. Throw this in the fire, light it in a bin, ocean, burn it, kill it with sticks. No.
Yeah. The Dudley Boys, I was chatting to them yesterday on the Raw review, and they are convinced Lana's coming back for TLC, by the way, despite the fact that she was destroyed on Raw. And I'm now like, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. She's going to be crawling out there and putting Nia Jax through a table on Sunday to win Asuka the match or whatever. Yeah, that's going to happen, isn't it? But for God's sake, no. This is not like for all that we moan about it, like the Raw Women's Championship has actually been kind of looked after pretty well for the most part of this year. Yeah. Wrong decisions were made. Shayna should have won the title at WrestleMania, of course, but it's gone from Becky Lynch to Asuka. That's a good lineage in my book.
It's not bad.
So just having Lana go, whoa, and then like rolling up Asuka for the, what is it now, over 100, I think Miller was saying yesterday, surprise roll-up victory. Yeah, please, God, no. Anyway, let's quickly move on to today's and finally, and friend of the channel, one of our best friends, Tama Tonga, because, Andy Murray, this is a Run the Jewels newsroom, isn't it? And anytime that someone tweets something as Tama Tonga did here, paying homage to Run the Jewels, lie, cheat, steal, kill, win, we are going to represent it here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Run the Jewels house, evidently. Got the quadruple vinyl here. Yeah, good. Shout out to Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga is what he is, We have a complicated relationship with that man on this channel, but a rare moment of goodness from the good, bad, medium guy. Yes.
The man behind the man behind the man behind the throne. Intriguing stuff developing with Bullet Club. Whoa, I'm excited. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys previewing the sort of Wednesday Night War with NXT, the little engine that could, taking part as well. You can also let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H today stands for Happy Birthday Brody Lee. Wherever he is at the moment, I hope John Silver gets him some chilies.
Happy birthday, Phil's dad. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.